Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I am Joey Calvo. Happy holidays, everyone. It's Christmas Eve. And as you can tell, we're not in the normal studio. We are live at Harrah's in Atlantic City. Try to get there. You go. We got a better view there. But that is Atlantic City, folks. So we are doing our normal year-end podcast. So this time I'm doing it a little bit different. I'm actually going to show you some great things of 2024. Well, actually, at least one great thing. And I'm going to start it right off. Back in October, I had the pleasure of chatting with a very beautiful adult actress by the name of Liz River. And so I'm going to play a snippet of that interview. Actually, I have it set to where she's getting ready to tell her story of who she is and how she came to be. So hold on one moment. Let me pull it up.
Question, and it's so hard to kind of encapsulate that in a couple sentences because it was a 20-year journey.
Yeah.
But I basically, I was in my early 20s. I was really trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself. I had been to college, but it just I wasn't really fitting in anywhere. And so I started on a website called One Model Place. I had a free profile. And the first paying gig was, something in this line of work. And I thought, I met the guys and they were so cool and kind of like offbeat and sort of like weirdos. And I was like, these are my people. Because I know you can't tell, but by looking, you can't tell anything about somebody by looking, really. But I'm really a weirdo.
No, you're not. You know what?
People.
Okay.
And it's really just been a journey of like trusting myself and like listening to my gut, and that's how I got here.
Before we go any further, we're going to take that word weirdo out of you because I do not see that. I do not. Believe me, I do not see that. Okay. I mean, and yes, I'm putting myself down for a momentarily, folks. But I would always say that before I even go any further in stating this, when I turned around, I was in a down mood the other day. And I literally said, this is what I look like. If you didn't think you were comfortable enough to want to chat with me on a podcast, you had the chance to back out. And so I don't know if Liz saw that post, but if she did, like I said, she had the opportunity to back out, but she was just, like I said, she was just so passionate of being on here, and especially what's going on soon that we're going to get to later on. I like I said, I could not feel any more honored and amazed, and like I said, trying to keep my cool at the same time because look at her. I mean, this is an amazing person to really want to get to know. And especially next weekend. Oops. Did I slip? Did I slip? All right. Well, we're going to get to that in a moment. So, before we get to that, and yes, she's got the most beautiful long hair. Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
I can't decide which way it wants to go. I think it wants to go this way.
Okay. Well, it don't matter to me. That's one thing about me. I am into long hair women. Oh my God. It just turns me on. So that
I probably shouldn't be fussing with it while we're doing this.
Yeah, I know, but I apologize. Like I said, I'm trying to keep my cool at the same time and watching. Like I said, I apologize for that. It slips because, like I said, I'm still a gentleman to a point. So for 20 years you've been a model,
Mm-hmm.
And you've also gotten into cosplay now. And also, in reference to the cosplay, there's something else that you did in reference to that. So we're gonna get to that right now. So what? So, and it's kind of one of the questions that brought up, but I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit on it. And actually, I'm gonna do it this way. So, of course, Liz is familiar with our podcast's number one fan, number one supporter, and real life superheroine, American Fox.
Yes, I love American Fox.
Yeah,
I love
yes,
her.
yes. So she made sure she had questions for you. So I had to jump ahead into the questions because it's going to go into what we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah.
So the question that she had is, and we're going to get to, what got you interested in cosplay?
Yes, and I really had to think so hard about this question because it's such a great question, and you think I would immediately know the answer, but I was really trying to think what is the first time. I mean, I've always been into costumes, honestly,
Mhm.
like even as a kid, I really liked costumes.
Mhm.
Um, my a lot of people in my family sew. So when I was a kid, even when we didn't, sometimes we had money, sometimes we didn't. But I always, always, always had a Halloween costume, and for as long as I can remember, I was allowed to pick, and then someone in my family would make the costume for me.
Mhm.
If or we would buy it, but actually, I don't think we did buy a lot of costumes when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And so I've just always loved like She-Ra was one of the first
Mhm.
um like shows I remember loving, and I just wanted to be her, and I wanted that costume.
Mhm.
I watched a lot of Wonder Woman reruns when I was a kid. I watched, a lot of
Mhm.
Star Trek, and I've just always loved a good get up, a
Yeah.
good outfit.
Yeah.
And so honestly from the beginning of this career, like
Mhm.
I've always done costumes before I knew the word cosplay. Like I
Right.
don't I feel like I've been doing it since before I mean, at least I live in the Midwest, so things get here slower, but
Mhm.
I think I've been doing it since before we were saying cosplay in the Midwest.
Yeah. All right. All right. So the next question. Now, one statement I'm going to say is I kind of sent Liz a story idea offline before this, and she got back to me. She's like, "Well, Joey, I don't do this." And then when I showed her post, she's like, "Oh!" And then she just explained why in reference to it. Um, it was an evil Wonder Woman, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, I gotta support her. I had that's that's the story I sent her was kind of like a fantasy to me. Only because I'm into Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Woman left and right. I'm into the Linda Carter series. Um, and believe it or not, a little secret, so is American Fox. She is in.
Wow, I can't
Yeah,
tell.
yeah,
No.
yeah. No,
Yeah, I'm super as much as I love
actually,
getting ideas from people. That's so generous because every idea is has potential to be lucrative.
mhm,
Really the way it works is, so the evil Wonder Woman costume that you saw me in, I did actually make that for someone else's company. I made that for if you go on Twitter, they're under Super Heroine Fun.
mhm,
But the website is leagueofamazingwomen.com. And so
mhm,
I made that for them. They purchased that from me. It was a custom order. It just
mhm.
happened to fit me, and I took photos in it before I delivered it.
Yeah.
So once you showed me, I was like, oh, okay. And I believe that's noted in the post, but For anybody else who wants to send me ideas or anything like that, I do appreciate it. But really, the way it works is if you would like to see a video made, that's considered like a custom video. And while I do make those, there is a fee for that. And then you get to be the first person to see it. You get to be alone with that video for 4 weeks. No one else gets their eyes on it. And if you want to see me in a specific costume, you can also pay a premium fee for that as well. And I can either purchase the costume or I can make it myself.
Right. And well, like I said, when I said that to her, I explained, I was like, I can't afford to do it. But I said, I figured I would give you the idea because I could just picture her doing it. I just could. I mean, like I said, the beautiful long hair and all that. And the other thing about American Fox is, as you can see, I brought out the full picture of her. She actually does look like Wonder Woman in a way.
She really does. She's got such a Wonder Woman vibe. I wish I knew more about American Fox, actually. Is she where is she from? Is she American?
She is American,
Fox, obviously.
She is considered at Amazon. Matter of fact, I will let her know that you want to reach out.
I'm going to reach out to her on Instagram after this, actually, because we follow each other now on Instagram, and she and I obviously, I think we could do well together. I want to know more about her. I'm so interested in her.
Okay, and I will definitely let her know as well because we chat practically every day. So I will tell you, she will be honored to work with you and do let's just say it this way. And I'm not saying this because I'm a guy, but one thing I would do is I would video it if you ever decided to collaborate.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's more to American Fox that you would learn, and believe me, I mean, her hearing this, because she gets a copy of this as well as you will. So when she hears this, I think she is going to be blown away. She, like I said, she was amazed that just as much as I was to have you on this podcast. And so something like this would be awesome. And I mean, I will let you in on the secret after the podcast in reference to her. Matter of fact, if you go on her profile, I don't even have to really send it to you. If you go on her profile, she'll tell you how to reach her.
On Instagram? Yeah, I'll check it out.
And on Twitter too.
Okay. So, I'm not sure. I have to make sure that I follow her on.
Yeah, she follows you on Twitter now. So I mean, and when she followed me, when Liz followed me, I was like, oh my God, I could not believe this.
I'm pretty good about following people back. I'm not too stingy about that kind of thing. If somebody follows me and they have something nice, if they say something nice to me, I'll usually follow them.
Yeah. So that was the podcast with Liz River back in October, and you got to meet our podcast number one fan, number one supporter, and real life superheroine by the name of American Fox. And this is her. It takes a moment. There we go. Here she is. She has been, like I said, the podcast's biggest supporter. She's our number one fan, and a lot of questions that came up for this podcast came from her. And hopefully, I wanted to do something in the future where you know how iHeartRadio has their Jingle Ball and all these different things. I wanted to do like a podcast palooza type thing and have some of these guests actually either come down here, maybe to Atlantic City or somewhere else, and do a meet and greet. So if you go on the GoFundMe, you might find it. I forgot where it was at, but definitely that was one thing that I wanted to do. Now, of course, like I said, American Fox. She's American Fox 24/7. She's a real life superheroine. She goes out and fights crime. She is, and when she gets the opportunity, she throws questions for the guests. And you can follow her on X, formerly Twitter, at American Fox 4, or on Instagram at American Fox 12018. So, the other good thing that I have, now I'm going to play for you right now, is we had a great ventriloquist on by the name of April Brucker. Matter of fact, bear with me one moment. I'm going to bring up a little bit of that, so just bear with me. But we have 2 podcasts coming up in January 2025. So they're going to be interesting. And I do mean interesting. One is going to be about relationships, because I always have this thing on relationships that really, even though it kills me, but so just bear with me one moment. So I hope everybody's having a great holiday so far, especially Christmas. Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I am Joey Calvo. Our podcast is on the World Podcast Network with over 12. Yeah, you're hearing a little bit of it in the background. But there's one part of this. There we go. All right. And this was just before October. So I'm going to bring up where. And it's not. I'm sorry to interrupt. From this point on, we do not use the word puppets, even though
it's Textile Americans. I know.
Thank you.
They're not.
Thank you.
They're not here yet. As is April. May.
Oh! This must be May. May
yes.
is a pleasure first of all to meet you.
Who is this handsome guy? Is this Jelly Calvo?
Oh, May. You're gonna have me crying. Oh,
You know, April was telling me that
yeah.
Joey Calvo was going to interview me today. I've appeared on so many shows in so many places, but this is the highlight. You, Joey Calvo, are the man of my dreams. And I haven't slept.
Oh, you're gonna give me a reason to come to Vegas, dear. You're gonna give me. And I thought of it too.
Can I tell you something, Joey?
I would love to come to Vegas again.
You know, saying that you're the man of my dreams is a compliment because I party so much that I don't sleep very often.
Ow! Whoa! Well, May, I'm going to be honest, neither do I. So we're both in the same boat.
You're going to have to come to Vegas. So, Joey, was April telling you about her loser ex-fiance? We were getting to that part of the story.
We were getting to it. But May, one thing I'm going to say about you, and I when I first viewed you, okay, I almost thought you were a spitting image of Joan Rivers.
Oh, I love Joan Rivers. As a matter of fact, can I tell you something?
Go for it.
I've had just as much plastic surgery as she has.
I don't believe that, May. Come on. I don't believe that.
These are fake. These are fake. These are fake. But can I tell you something else, Joey? I still have more human skin than Kathy Griffin. Wow.
Oh. Ooh.
Do you want to hear another burn? What?
Go.
April and I have a Christmas song called Merry Christmas. I'm so glad I didn't marry you. It had its iHeartRadio debut. The video's dropping tomorrow, but you know what that means? What does it mean, May? I'm about to be bigger than Mariah Carey's gut.
Well, May, I have a surprise for you in April. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to introduce the single, Merry Christmas. Give me one moment. I'm so glad I didn't marry you.
Saint Nick, if I'm naughty, can I be your Santa baby? May, be nice. Let's sing a Christmas song. Whatever ain't wrong. Christmas is the time of the year for love and happiness. Sending Christmas cards to the ones that we love the best. The other day I thought of our love and how you sealed our fate on that third date, making me choose between my puppets and you. Lantern! Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'm so glad I didn't marry you. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I still hate you. You're up, May. Christmas is the time of the year for tinsel, sparkles, and pearls. You said I wouldn't have to work if I was your girl. You told me you were a billionaire in cryptocurrency. Then you took me to the Waffle House, so I guess no diamonds for me. Oh, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'm so glad I didn't marry you. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I still hate you. You know who else hates you, my dog? And your ex-wife and your daughter are hogs. And I'm sending your wife that photo of us in the hot tub so you know. Hey, Joe, I hate you. And I hate you. Gary and Frank and Dave and Jim, I hate you all. And I'm putting on social media, so Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'm so glad I didn't marry you. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I still hate you. You disappointed me under the mistletoe. You had a tiny sleigh and you couldn't make it snow. Hello. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I'm so glad I didn't marry you. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Your father's a Grinch and your mother's a shrew. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Here's some spoiled eggnog for you. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I super duper hate you. I super duper hate you. I put it on social media. That's how much I hate you. And I hope everybody reads how much I hate you. And you're broke. And I hate you. And I hate you. And I hope you die. And I hate you. May, calm down, please. On second thought, Santa, what if I'm naughty and nice? Can I, jingle your bells? Keep it a rough, May. Whatever, April.
There you go, folks.
Thank you.
You got the sneak preview of Merry Christmas. I'm happy I didn't marry you. May
Right,
and April.
Video drops tomorrow. And
Yep.
thank you, Jelly. Can I give you a kiss?
Yeah, you can. Even though I'm going to say, remember I said in the beginning that I felt hated?
Why do you feel hated, Jelly, when I love you? And all I want to do is rip you out. May! She's so sorry, Jelly.
Right, May. In the song, you both said, I hate Joe.
No, we weren't referring to you, okay?
I know you weren't referring to me, but when I listened to it, I just wanted to have that feeling, you know? Even though I know it wasn't aimed at me. But
No. We're going to tell you about the Joe it's named after. It was a guy that I totally fell for. He was another comedian, and I thought he was more successful than me at the time. And, he was taking me out, giving me the, really wooing me, takes me out for discount pizza, yada, 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 and starts asking me about my finances. He starts asking me how much money's in my bank account. He starts asking me if I have a roommate. And if there's a vacancy in my apartment. And you know what I said? Hell no, Joe. She really did.
Okay.
But anyway, I wouldn't give up on love until I realized he was seeing another woman behind my back. Yeah. You want to know the kicker? The apartment he took me to wasn't his apartment. It was the building where he was working as the super. And they were about to kick him out because he was a lousy super, but he was good at sleeping with all the women in the building. So
wow.
He was using me because his big time management dumped him and he was homeless. So May, what did you say? What a dummy. And so then he tries to come back 2 weeks later after everything he's done. And what did you say, May? I said, listen, no romance without finance. Your romance wasn't that good. And your finance is even worse. I still love you still, baby. You really did. So that's who Joe is. So no, you aren't Joe.
Okay. No, I understood that. I mean, I understood it wasn't me. So I mean, but when I heard it, I better watch out. And especially May, when you tore up the guy on Judge Jerry. Oh.
Okay.
Yes, I did see that video. All right. I had to cut that video. I had to cut that part short because we're coming up at a time. And so I want to thank everybody that came on the podcast this year, especially Liz River and April Brucker, and as well as we had authors on there. Lauren Marie Taylor we had on. recently who was in Friday the 13th Part 2. And we had a lot of guests on. We had some cosplayers. We had a lot of people on. Hopefully 2025 will be just like that, if not more. And definitely you can watch all those videos on YouTube as well under live. If you go on the live section of the Life with Joey Calvin podcast, you will see all of them. There is one more person I do need to thank. That's SD herself. I forgot to put her in the loop when I did all this. We only did like 16 minutes, but that video got 1,600 views on it. So definitely check it out. And so I'm going to end this point. January 6th, we're going to have Teresa DeWitt talk about relationships. And on January 13th, both of these are going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern time. On January 13th, we're going to talk insurance with Shane Ferrone. He's an insurance broker, and so we're going to go into that. So, again, thank you, everyone, for a great 2024. Definitely, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this page so that way you know when we do the live stream podcast. Hopefully, we'll have some of these guests back again in 2025. And I mean, hopefully we will, like I said, if it's not in January, it may go into February. If not, the podcast may just end. I know a lot of people like American Fox would not be happy about it. But, I can't do everything anymore by myself. I mean, I went through a hellish year myself personally in reference to my knee. I wound up with a meniscus tear in my right knee, and I was out like 3 months. And during that time, I was going through hell. So I've hit my low points as well. But this podcast has been my therapy during that time. So I thank all of you for joining me on this therapy. And like I said, hopefully 2025 we'll have more podcasts like this a little more often. Great guests. A lot of good stuff. So at this point, I wish us all a happy holiday, with Christmas being tomorrow and New Year's next week, to be precise. So happy holidays, and I will be back on January 6th. May God bless you all. Happy holidays.